everybody, Nick here. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, once I get sweep picking down to where I can play arpeggios, how do I use it in my playing? And how do I integrate it into the licks that I already do? And that's a great question because it's not as straightforward as it might seem. It's one thing to just insert an arpeggio or a sweep picking into a lick, but having it blend smoothly and be a natural part of your playing is what you really want. And so I'm going to talk about that today because I think it's important for all you sweep pickers out there. And if you are new to sweep picking, I will point you to my sweep picking guide down below in the description. It's called Sweep Picking Bootcamp, and it has the arpeggios that we're going to be talking about today and lots of cool exercises that will get you going on this stuff. It's my free gift to you. It's got video, a jam track, detailed instruction, and it's a lot of fun to work with even though it's called Bootcamp. So check that out, Sweep Picking Bootcamp down below. Let's just talk about this. Now, what I did at the beginning there was I combined some stuff from the blues scale, the pentatonic scale, with sweep picking. And this is something I do a lot in my own playing. It's something I hear players like, at least the early Vinnie Moore stuff, I would hear things like this in Vinnie's playing. And you can look to some of the more melodic players who also use sweep picking, like Yngwie, how he combines sweep picking, even though he doesn't think of it as sweep picking, he just thinks of it as an arpeggio. He combines that fluidly with his normal playing and his blues lines and his diatonic scale stuff. So that's what you want, is a natural sort of flow to this stuff. So I'm just going to give you a phrase. It's kind of loosely, a loose phrase where I might play it differently every time, but it's something that you can take and use in your own playing. So let's talk about that next. Alright, so what I'm doing is connecting this line. So I'm playing right out of the A minor pentatonic blues scale. I'm playing the second position. Sliding back into the first position. So let me just kind of play that for you slow. It's a little sequence. Now at this point, I'm going to transition back into the first position, A minor pentatonic blues scale, and add that flat 5 there, okay? I'm going to land on the root, and I'm going to pause there. And I'm pausing there because I want to show you how I'm preparing to do the sweep picking, but I'm not losing any flow. So in other words, I'm not just stopping to insert something. It actually becomes part of the flow of the line, which is a big difference in the way that people hear it. So here we go with the line. Now, with that pause, notice I'm keeping the vibrato going. And now I'm going into the sweep picking section. And this is a very colorful arpeggio. It's a C major 7 arpeggio. In the key of A, that C major 7 is one of the diatonic arpeggios. And I like it a lot in a minor key using this. This would be a third up from the root. So if you think of A, B, C, the third up from the root, use that major 7 arpeggio in a minor key. And this will give you the 9th degree. So you get a B in there. You get a B and a C and an E, so you get the 5th of A, you get the 9th and the flat 3rd, and you also get a G, which is the flat 7, which sounds really good. So if I play an A chord, just kind of let it ring. hard to hear there, but you can get my drift. Okay, and so what I'm doing is I'm sweep picking. I'm doing a downstroke on the 4th fret on the G string, hammer onto the 5th fret, and then I'm continuing with a down on the 2nd string 5th fret, and then another down on the 3rd fret on the high E. Now I'm playing an upstroke on the 7th fret. That's the 9th again on the high E. You notice how this hammer-on kind of gets you into the arpeggio. You could pick it, starting with an up. A guy like maybe Frank Umbali would do that. But I like the flow of the hammer-on. Now I'm going to come back down the arpeggio and add a little hammer and pull thing. So here we go. Now we're into part of an E minor arpeggio, which is just this part, which also sounds great over A minor. So I'm imagining this over a, let's say like a static A minor chord or an A minor chord progression. So if you put those two things together, you get this. Now the sweep picking part, when you come up on the, I didn't talk about the second part of the arpeggio, after you play an upstroke on the B note on the high E, you pull off to the G note on the 3rd fret, 1st string. Then you continue up, 5th fret, 2nd string, up again on the G string, 5th fret, and then pull off, hammer, pull. Then continue with an up on the 5th fret on the D string, and then up again on the 7th fret on the A string. That's going to allow us to transition to a downstroke with the next arpeggio. So we left it off on an up. We're going to start the next arpeggio on a down. So let me do that slow for you. There's a downstroke when I do this hammer pull right here, so that's a downstroke, and then 2 ups. And so once again, transitioning into that. Now, if I didn't pause here, here's what it would sound like, and it would still work pretty well. It works good. I'm just pausing there on that A note, 7th fret, just to kind of so you can hear how this next part flows into it. Okay, and then the next part of the lick, we're going to ascend an F major triad. And these are 16th note triplets here. And then slide up and descend a G major arpeggio. Now I'm doing that as I'm playing all downs. 8, 7, 5, 6, 5. And then, so that's the F major. And then I'm actually sliding really quickly from 8, then upstroke, slide into 10, pull off to 7, and then upstrokes on 8, 7, 9, 10. So that's my G major. That's a good exercise in itself. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more and ascend this A minor. 12, 10, 9, 10, 8, 12. These are all downstrokes until we get to 12, which is an up. And then I end up on the 10th fret, 2nd string. Now you can push and pull the rhythm here. give it more of a rubato flavor. That's kind of what pushing and pulling rhythmically is rubato, and that I use that a lot. So you don't have to play these as straight 16th notes, and I 16th note triplets. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably push and pull it unless I was really trying to line up with a certain chord progression. But most of the time, there's a lot of push and pull going on in my playing. So this whole sweep picking section, and notice there's a little pause sliding between those. Now that's up to you how you want to connect it rhythmically. There's a lot of ways to do it. You get the general idea, I hope. Let's try the whole thing. Notice I'm switching my pickup from my back pickup for the pentatonic leg, which gives it a little bit more bite, and then by pausing it also does give me a chance to switch to the front pickup, which is a little bit warmer and sounds really good with sweep picking. You could do the whole thing on either pickup. It's up to you. So let me do that slow. Now the whole lick. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That is one way to really start integrating sweep picking into your playing. Think about pentatonic scales, diatonic scales, and how you can work in diatonic arpeggios. So in other words, arpeggios that are in the same key as your scales into your lines. If you're not sure about diatonic arpeggios, again, I refer you to my Sweep Picking Bootcamp, which has a chapter just on that, and even in the key of A. So you'll get a really clear picture, I think, after going through that, and how you can use this stuff. All right, I'll see you next time. Rock on.